I was new to the field, just a couple of years' experience with direct work, but I thought I knew quite a bit. And I was providing services in the community. I routinely picked children up at home or school and went different places in the community, like the playground, stores, or the library. One day, I went to a big, beautiful house to pick up a new client, a 4-year-old with autism. I met her mother and let her know that the plan was to take her out and just get to know her. We would play for a few hours, then I would bring her back and we could talk about goals. I took her to the local library where she outright refused to do a single thing I asked. Each time I asked her to do a simple task, even after presenting a first then contingency with something I was told was motivating for her, she either became aggressive, screamed, or threw things. Eventually, I simply stopped asking her to do anything, and her behavior diminished somewhat, at least to the point where we were not asked to leave the library. I was exhausted after spending 3 hours with her when I finally got to take her home. I rang the doorbell. Her mom answered, a tall, smart, intimidating woman. I explained what happened while we were out and proceeded to tell her mother that the first thing we needed to work on was compliance. Her mother's demeanor instantly changed from friendly to angered mama bear. She instructed me that we would not be working on compliance and that she had worked diligently with her school to have the word compliance removed from her IEP. I stood in stunned silence, completely out of my element, with no idea how to respond. Her mother went on to tell me that she wanted her daughter to process situations and her feelings, and she would not tolerate someone directing her to comply. I nodded understanding and told her that I also wanted her to process what was going on, but I couldn't help her with that if I couldn't get her to first walk safely with me in the community. Over the course of several months, I worked to build a better relationship with this mother. I asked her to ignore the terminology that I chose at first, but to trust me enough to give me 2 weeks to see if my methods might help. She grudgingly agreed. After 2 weeks, we did see some improvements, and she was a lot safer while we were out. Her mother allowed me to continue using my methods, and we continued to see gains. Through many ups and downs across several years, we came to an understanding. During one IEP meeting, her mother laughed and said she was going to have t shirts made that say, I'm compliant with compliance. Even when you have the same ultimate goals, using the wrong terminology builds walls instead of bridges.